Hello, everyone. We are live on Facebook. Woohoo!
Hi, Renee. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I am super excited today to join some of my favorite realtor peeps on the whole planet. Would everyone share a little bit, your introduction, and share a little bit about yourself? Cheryl, you first.
Most certainly. Cheryl Houck, I am coming at you from the Tampa Bay market, where we're really cooking with gas in a hot market. I think we're just upon the busy season because we're seeing multiple offers, which has been the first in a couple of weeks. So Sean, this is just welcome. Perfect timing. Your timing is impeccable. Excited to hear what you have to say about Show Me Now.
Right on.
I love it. Who's up next? Mr. Mitch.
Hey, everybody. Mitch Riback. I am in the Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, Florida area. It's a beautiful 80 degrees out and sunny for all my northern Boston friends who are getting massacred with snow right now. We don't miss that. Yeah, we're really excited about being on here with you, Sean. This is a lot of fun, and I can't wait to hear more about this app and how it's going to transform our business.
Right on.
All right, Mr. Funk.
My name's Jeffrey Funk. I'm in Orlando, Florida, in the next room from Renee, actually, and been super excited to hear from Sean. I met Sean about a little over a year ago in New York, and he told me about this app. So it's been a year in the making for me to get to this point. So really looking forward to today.
All right, and before we throw it to our very special guest, Sean Thomas. Sean and I first met about a year ago, but I had the pleasure to spend a lot of time with Sean too in Inman in January. And one of the things that you said, among many, that really piqued my ear, you said to me that, and yep, my phone is ringing. I'm going to shut it off now. You said to me that my goal was to create a product that will assist realtors, and this is created by a fellow realtor. So you created the product with realtors in mind, and I think that whenever we operate from that mentality, something very special comes to fruition, and in fact it did with your app, Show Me Now. So welcome, Sean Thomas.
Woohoo! Thank you very much. Thanks, you guys, for that nice warm welcome. Little intro for myself, for those of you who are tuning in on Facebook Live. My name is Sean Thomas. I'm a product manager at eXp. I am also a realtor, background realtor. Been in the industry for 16 years. So as you said, Renee, I had a lot of that idea set and mindset informing Show Me Now. And I'm the founder and creator of Show Me Now, a mobile real estate application. So let's get this thing started. What questions did you have for me, or what do you guys want to hear about?
Well, I'll start, Sean. Tell us about what is Show Me Now, and what does it do?
Okay. So Show Me Now is a mobile app. It's strictly a mobile application. It is it's for both Android and Apple iOS. I guess before we kind of dive right into what is the app and what does it do, for those of you tuning in, one of the things as a real estate agent, and I'm sure that you guys here can attest to this, I saw a change in the way that real estate was being conducted, mainly for my personal clients over the years. I started getting a lot more calls from leads and buyers and sellers. And every time that we were interacting and communicating and meeting at homes and everything else, their phone was glued to their hand. And then you started hearing the background noises, the pings and the rings. And basically I started to see right away that pretty much everybody's tethered to their phone. So that was the first hint. The second hint was how fast information was changing hands and how fast the communication was. I started to see as an agent, I'll email you when I get back into my office just wasn't cutting it anymore. It just wasn't happening. I started to also notice that if I wasn't responding to my clients almost instantaneously, there was a shift in the communication dialogue. So it went from, again, in my 16 years of doing real estate, it went from I can email you, hold on just a minute, and getting back to them in a few days, to they wanted it instantly. They wanted information, they wanted answers, and they wanted to be able to reach me. And mainly it was done through a phone. And so that's kind of where I started that process 3 years ago with developing Show Me Now, and thinking of how I can incorporate mobile technology or my phone into my everyday real estate business. That was 3 years ago. And we started with a concept and an idea, and then we kind of slowly added on to it, and here we are. So with that background, Show Me Now it's a tool. It's a mobile application that connects primarily buyers to real estate agents in the field. The thought process was that buyers, I think there's a statistic out there by the National Association of Realtors that over the last 3 years have grown. It started at 33%, then it jumped to 64%, and I believe we're somewhere hovering between 89 to 93% of home buyers actually find their house, or they find their real estate product or property first online. And they're conducting the online searches from their phone, from their apps on their phone, from their searches on their phone, but nonetheless, it's all coming from their phone, and they're accessing it. And that's all before they ever reach out to an agent. So why not have an app that engages them on their phone through a mobile app? Let's see. What does Show Me Now specifically do? So I love to answer this question in more of kind of like a story dialogue, that our buyers are out there. They're looking for houses, they're searching and everything else, and they find the house. They found it online through a third-party site, and any of them. You can name a bazillion of them, right? Realtor.com, Zillow, website portals, you name it. So they find these houses, these properties that they like. They already do all of the research. They already know the school districts, the API test scores. They already know the commute. These buyers are finding the home online, finding the product online, and they're doing their own homework before calling you, Renee, Jeff, Cheryl, before ever reaching out to you guys. They're finding the home online, and the next step they do, like majority of buyers, is they drive out to see the neighborhood. All right, they've already taken the 360 tour online. They've already seen the insides and the pictures, but a lot of buyers will drive out to a neighborhood on a Saturday or a Sunday, or when the rain clears up. Basically, they drive out to the property or the neighborhood, and they canvass the neighborhood. And it's at that pivotal moment when they pull up to the address of the house that they've been watching online. They took time off of their Saturday, Sunday afternoon, or Monday morning in California, where I'm at, and they drive up in the neighborhood. They see the home, and lo and behold, it's wonderful. In fact, the pictures probably didn't even do it justice, because it was taken when the listing agent took pictures in the middle of winter or something. And so here's these buyers that they cleared their day off from their 9-to-5 job. It's a Monday morning, 10:20 a.m. in the West Coast, and they want to see it. They're excited. There are also buyers that they're trained. If they don't find a way to get into that house and see it now, by the time that they schedule a showing on the
Yes. We lost.
Ringing. And that's a great example. So that could have been, that's going to lead me right into this right now, right? So let's just use that.
Perfect segue. Perfect.
So here we are, right? Here we are. And that could have been buyers in front of my listing right now on a Monday morning at 10:20 a.m. I did not recognize the number. I'm a real estate agent. I'm in a live Facebook call. The phone number that popped up, I didn't recognize it. It is a local 916 number where I'm at, but I can't answer it as a listing agent. That could have been a lead I just lost. Someone might have been calling in on my sign call, and there's no way I would have done that or known. Not only that, but I would have never left this meeting to go and answer that. What happened to that buyer? So let's just pretend that is a buyer. The buyer is sitting there in front of my listing. I would have never known. They would have left me a voicemail if I'm lucky. They might text me if I'm lucky, but more than likely they drove away. And then they're going to keep driving around, because again, this is their day off from their 9-to-5 job. They're going to drive around. They're going to go to the next house and the next house until an agent actually picks up. So where Show Me Now fits in is this. Here you are And if you're using the product and you have Show Me Now and the sign writer on your listing, you would have, I brought show and tell you guys. Ta-da! You would have a sign writer on there.
We like show and tell, Sean. We like show and tell.
The sign writer, sorry, you guys are seeing this from my phone. The sign writer, right, says, receive a personal showing in 20 minutes or less, download the app. And so what this does is, if this was sitting on my listing right now, when I just had that 916 number, they would not have reached me. They would have saw the sign writer, they would have downloaded the app right then and there, and they would have used the app and said, okay, I am in front of this listing. There is information within the app that says, hey, do you want to see it now? You want to see it now? Send out a showing request. Now, the buyer is happy because they're getting a showing request sent out immediately. That's what the app is saying. I'm happy as an agent because I did not recognize that 916 random phone number, but on my app, my Show Me Now app, it would have told me there is a buyer standing in front of 123 Main Street, your listing, that is there. They're ready to see the house, and they're ready to have you drive up and show them the property. They're ready to actually physically meet you and shake your hand and exchange names and everything else right there. Or do you want to take that lead? And that's all the difference in the world. It's buyers who are ready to have agents actually physically be in their sphere and their space. They're not calling on the phone and giving you a different name or anything else. They're not having that buffer. These are serious buyers that are willing to have an agent show up and say hello.
So we're guaranteeing the listing to be shown in a certain amount of time and catering to that instant gratification that we're all getting accustomed to in this day and age.
Yes, sir. Yes, Jeff.
We know that buyers work with the first, typically there's a statistic that most buyers work with that agent that calls them back first, right?
Absolutely. Now that's on a base level process. I could talk about this all day long, you guys. One of the things, since I have a group of agents right here, what's really neat is, let me ask this to my panelists. How many of you would have taken that random call just now if you got interrupted on your Facebook Live and it was, you had a way magically to know that that number just now that came across your phone was a live serious buyer that is in front of your listing, that has been pre-approved, that is not calling you to ask you what color the bathroom is not calling you, has it been updated, but it's a buyer. It's you know, we call them tire kickers or looky-loos, but it's the person who contacted you over that phone, that and all you could see was that phone number, was a live buyer that is willing to actually say, hey, Cheryl Huck, I'm willing to shake your hand and meet you. Can you please show me this listing? How many of you would like that kind of lead?
Yeah, of course, everybody would want that kind of lead.
Right?
I don't actually answer my phone anymore when it rings because I get so many spam calls every day. So for me, something like this, from what you're explaining, would really change the whole dynamic of all my listings, because I probably have missed a gazillion listing sign calls because I don't answer the phone very often anymore.
Well, go ahead.
I'm just saying, well, I'm on this call, so if it had rolled to me, I could not gotten it. But the beauty of it is I understand that we can put up to nine
Yes.
agents. We can educate those agents. We can take them on a tour through the house and make sure that they know exactly what we know as the first listing agent on that house. So I love
Correct.
it. Really.
So you beat me to the punch. Thanks, Cheryl. No, that's awesome. You guys did your homework. Thank you so much. A+.
We come to you ready, Sean. We're ready. Florida does not mess around.
All right. So back to Mitch, and then a nice segue. What Cheryl said was, there's, again, as an agent, as a team leader, as somebody who, again, who's maybe on a lot of Zoom calls, you never know, right? Facebook Live calls. As agents, we don't always have the ability to answer our phone every single time, or in this case, let's use Show Me Now in context. Even if we got a live lead from the Show Me Now app that's telling us a buyer is right then and there, we can't leave. We're on Facebook Live, you guys. We can't just get up and leave. And then just like what Cheryl said, so built into the app, if you're the listing agent, you can go into the database and assign 9 other agents with you. And this way, all 10 of you, when that lead comes across the app, all 10 of you will receive the notice first. And that way you can say, designate somebody. I'm going to show my age here, but back in the day when I was with another brokerage, we used to call that floor duty, right? Desk duty or floor duty. You would sit there and Sean would sign up from 10 to 2. Every time that phone rang in that office, I was there because I was the showing agent of the office that day. So that's the kind of concept that went into it, where in our business today, everything's done over the internet, everything's done over mobile. Renee, you can go in and assign 9 other agents, and perhaps you want to designate that. So I don't even need to give you guys the concept. I can give you the actual proof. In some of our test markets, we do have agents doing that now. I have agents who said, Sean, I am really, really busy. I'm this, I'm that. My name's out there. My brand name is out there. My business is out there. I get a lot of listings. And what I do is I talk to other agents and have them assigned as buyer's agents per property. And it's not just one property, all your properties at once. You can assign 9 to each individual property. So
it's a great opportunity to build a really good referral business too, right off your listing. So I don't work with a lot of buyers because of my schedule. Yes. And I don't have time. If I could just know that my listing calls would be taken care of, and I could charge a 75% referral fee like I normally do. You might, so what a great opportunity though to build another revenue stream off of a great product, right?
Absolutely. I just took this call from one of our pilot group agents yesterday, does Show Me Now have a referral process in there? And no, I mean, this is second nature for us as agents, right? I mean, as agents, if we have a listing, we're able to leverage a referral fee with our fellow agents and our co-op brokers and everything else out there in the industry. That's entirely, as an agent, I didn't want to be kind of stuck or pigeonholed into a product that limits me. I wanted to create Show Me Now for my business, first of all, personally, and then eventually I had enough interest from other agents and so on that we kind of released it to the public. But I wanted to be able to use Show Me Now however my market dictates, and whatever's available. The California market is definitely different than the Florida market, and so on. So getting back to your example, Mitch, with a 75% referral fee, I'm right there with you. Let me tell you, right? If here I am and I have a listing that's, let's use some tag words here, that's turnkey conditions, been remodeled, the seller is super excited and needs this property to move. They're just pulling out all the stops, right? All the bells and whistles. They bought a home warranty with full price offer, you name it, all the stuff that we use in our listings on a daily basis. I might leverage a higher referral fee. And at the same time, let's be perfectly honest, that maybe I have a listing that needs a little bit of TLC. So at that point, it does give me the option to then adjust that referral fee accordingly as well. So, it's a multifaceted tool you guys can use in each of your businesses, however it best fits your business locally.
Well, what I love about it too is that for my group, I'm always looking. We've got fantastic tools, KV Core, to generate leads for my group. I don't work cold leads like that, but I'm just really excited because I have a listing inventory that I can add those 9 agents that are known to be converting and reward them with this. And whether I take a referral fee or not, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for them.
So as a listing agent, let me ask you, what kind of, cold calls or leads, real quick, what kind of leads do you take now? What is the caliber of cold call that you take right now, or the agents in your team that they take right now? Let me ask you that.
Well, me personally, let me answer that personally. I will call out, and I love that we have a recording of all of those buyers that have called.
Yes.
On our Show Me Now app writer, right?
Yes.
So I will most certainly, they expressed interest in that house. I most certainly, that's to the extent of my cold calling.
Okay. Anybody else want to take that question as well? So that, I mean, and I'm building up the anticipation here, you guys.
You're doing a great job, Sean.
Well, we always figure, you know, when we have online leads that they're going to visit our site, then they're probably going to visit 5 or 6 other sites after that. So we're always in the speed to lead, which absolutely this is caters in with that too. Once again, instant gratification. So, you know, speed to lead's big, and I think that you want to get in front of them first.
And also from the consumer base, you know that it's always, you know, I mean, lead conversion has been my thing for 1,000 years now. You know, when you
have a nickname, don't you, Mitch?
Yes, they call me the grandfather of lead conversion, but I like the Godfather better.
Jeff and I call you Godfather.
Yeah, I know, right? But but the reality is the statistic is the first person that talks to a person that calls is usually going to get the sale.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of this is I know that if it's not me, like in my area here, we have 4,500 realtors here. So if me or someone from my team does not respond quickly, there'll be another realtor that responds quickly.
And what a shame, because we need to be servicing our seller, our consumer at a very high level. And what I love about this so much, and Jeff Rose, our Superman, Jeff Rose has a question too, but what I love about this so much is that I'm always looking at what's in the best interest of the seller. So industry says that 33% of the time we can double side, that we will find our own buyer from our very own marketing, right? So if we can capture more of those opportunities, I'd imagine with eXp, where we've got higher than that industry standard or that industry number, but I can offer my seller a variable seller commission and save them some money on the commissions because we're able to capture that buyer that is driven in front of their house. So for the consumer, I think it's awesome.
Yep. Well, absolutely. You know, you brought up a good point with sellers. You know, for the buyers love the app because the whole instant gratification. You know, what's interesting is when you ask buyers what do they want from real estate, and they say a number of things. And when you look at the core basis of their wants and what they're asking is they really want to be heard, right? They want to know, again, using the example I gave just now, that at 10 a.m., a set of buyers went out. They had been watching these properties online from 5 different sites, like you said, Jeff, and they're out there on their day off. You know, they're not doing it from work. They'll be fired if they did that. But they're there on their day off. They're driving in the neighborhood that they've been watching. They know the API test scores. They know the neighborhood. They know the commute to work. They know the distance. Again, with the technology that's out there on websites and everything else, they've already been in a virtual tour, so they know the product. They know what they want in their mind. They need an agent to help them facilitate that. And here's where the hurdle is in our industry, right? They know what they want. They know everything else. And when they finally are ready to move forward and take that huge plunge, that next step, they either have to call, they have to text, they have to email. And it's usually done curbside when the car's running outside of a house. And as agents, like you said, Mitch, like we just saw here, we don't know how serious the lead is. Not only that, we can't even tell at this point if the phone number coming across our screen, our phone, is a buyer or is it a telemarketing call. And so we as agents are already tuned to block that off and stop that. We'll ignore it and whatever we do in our daily lives. And this is things that the seller doesn't realize. And at the same time, we're trying to help a seller sell their house for the most that we can or the best that we can and help them facilitate that sale. And we're missing out on leads. We're missing out on potential viewing opportunities for these sellers. So that's a very long intro to your question.
we talk. Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
My question is, oftentimes a buyer is looking at the house and they're kind of dreaming that particular house is in their budget, in their price point. So that's Jeff's question. He's asking if there's a way for the lender to contact before the agent arrives, or best to wait until you meet them.
all of the above. All of the above. So all of the above. Multifaceted tool, you guys. I want you guys to, if there's anything that anybody sees this video and walks away from, it's a multifaceted tool. So when the buyer logs in, it does ask them if they're pre-approved. If they say yes, it's asked for them to enter in their lender's information. If they say no, there is, for the pilot portions, we're going to change it a little bit up, and I would love to talk about that more in our next video conference. But for now, it does give them the option of getting pre-approved. It offers to have them be connected. If they still say no, then we designate them with a different color designation for a buyer. So that way, if you're the responding agent and you see a buyer alert pop up on your app, you're going to know that this one's not pre-approved. And you'll be able to say, oh, I still don't mind taking this lead. I still don't mind trying to convert them.
Well, what Jeff and I talk a lot about on our team about from a marketing perspective as listing agents is that, as you mentioned, so many home searches begin online. We say the first showing is online. In fact, I really believe we've come to a point now where the first, second, and third showing now takes place online.
Right.
As marketers in the field of real estate, it's our job to get that buyer from whatever online portal they are, whether it's mobile, whatever they're doing, to that front door. And so, as you mentioned, Sean, sometimes the buyers do their own discovery before they've even talked to a realtor. They might do a drive-by, or maybe they're just doing a little drive-by just casually. This app, Show Me Now, bridges a gap because it helps the sellers with bringing more immediate showing times, but it also helps the listing agent perform a higher level of service for the sellers, because we are now an entire army who can help the sellers with phenomenal service, being present for the showing.
And
so I look at this from service.
Love it.
Absolutely, because you have the individual agent that can't always get out there. So this is going to expand their network of people to show it. And then for people like us who have, we have a team, we can actually just shoot this out to the team right away. So we're going to have a bunch of people that already are familiar with the house to get first crack at getting over there to show the house. So it's brilliant in that sense.
So you guys brought up two. Go ahead.
On the flip side of that too, it gives the seller more control. Should they know that they are dedicated to family dinners between the hours of 5 and 6, and they don't want their house to be shown. So rather than take the call and deny the showing, they can simply just remove the sign writer, right? For those times.
Okay. So you guys covered 3 things in one go. All right. So. All right, here we go. All right.
Are we making this easy for you or what, Sean?
You are. And here I was nervous. Oh, all right. So here we go, right? 3 things. So you're sitting here, and I'm going to address all 3 of those topics real quick, succinctly. So I'm on a listing presentation. I've been on a number of them. I will go on a cold listing presentation. I'll go on a referral listing presentation. I'll go on, hey, somebody I meet at the grocery store that I've been working on, a prospect, all that other good stuff. And I've gone on these listing presentations. And what's amazing is, you guys can back me up on this and laugh, but there is a distinct moment when the seller looks at me and goes, so what are you going to do to sell my house? And we've all had that question at the dinner table. When you're across the table looking at your seller, and you're like, oh, okay. So, and we had out of our bag of tricks as realtors, I'm professional. I have a huge network built in. I'm with eXp Realty. I have access to 17,000 agents, all this other good stuff. And the seller will say, awesome. So what else are you going to do to sell my house? And at that point, this is where I love. And I challenge anybody, I challenge all of you to do this, right? Take one of these sign writers with you. Seriously, take one of these sign writers with you. Have it on the side. You're sitting there and say, okay, I'll tell you what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we all know that the more eyes, the more viewership, the more community awareness of your house that we can put out there, it should potentially drive more interest in your property. right? So I'm going to do flyers or whatever you do in your marketing bag of tricks that you use as an agent. Great, awesome. But I love this, and I tell my seller, so the next team that you interview after me, or the next agent that you happen to meet after me, if you choose not to list with me right now, ask them if they have something like this. And I bring this out in my listing presentation. And I make that noise too. But I bring this out and I say, do they have this kind of technology that they're promising you? Because this is from Sean Thomas. This is what I'm promising you if you list with me. And they say, well, what's that? And I tell them, simple. What this does is that anytime a buyer wants to see your property and has interest in your property, we'll be able to make your house available. And that means that on days that I'm unavailable because I'm on a Facebook Live call, on days that, you know, I'm human too and I may get sick, or on days that I'm on vacation or something, instead of any missed viewership on your home, which will potentially lead to possibly an offer, this is going to have you captured. This is going to have you covered. This is a safety net right here. That means when Sean Thomas, your listing agent, is not available, I have 9 other agents to take the call as well. So don't worry, Mr. and Mrs. Seller.
I love that.
That's
I
great.
love this because Sundays are really sacred to me. Sundays are my family
Yes.
day. And
Yes.
Sundays is a big day that buyers are out driving around. So
Yes.
I now have an opportunity for 9 people on my team to capture these buyers.
Yes.
Sean, you're so smart.
Thank you. Also, like what you said, Cheryl, is this, right? Like, you know, of course, Show Me Now works perfect for vacant homes, but the challenge as a listing agent is when the home is occupied. Okay, and so here we are, and let's just say, you know, let's be very real here. All right, let's be very real, very transparent of how the industry works for us on a daily basis. And you know, you're meeting the seller, you have this listing, and this seller says, you know, I can only show it really for 3 hours on a Saturday. All the other days I'm busy. And you're like, really? Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to sell your house if all I got 3 hours a week only. And that's where you have this tool. You can say, well, are there times that you leave? Well, yeah, I work a 9 to 5, Sean. Okay, great. So do me a favor. You know how you tidy up your house, or, you know, we discussed this when we're gonna have an open house, you're gonna do the dishes and make sure everything's put away and your house is presentable. So to help you increase interest in your house, please do this. Tidy up your house, and when you're leaving to go to work that day, simply clip on the sign right of yourself.
Right.
Opening your house up to be seen. Opening your house up to be seen.
It helps.
And yes. And when you come home, hold on. So when you come home that night, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and you're done for the day because you just got done doing a 9 to 5, take the sign off. Done. And now you've taken your house off the ability to be shown. And it really, you know, by doing that, it gives us as agents another option, especially for some of those hard to show listings. So
what is this 9 to 5 thing you speak of?
I know. What is this 3 hours a week?
They're definitely not agents. You guys. But yeah. Go. Yes.
And sellers, you know, what we want to get the highest possible price, so we need the maximum exposure. So to help them get that, they can help us. We enlist them in the process too, and I think they appreciate that.
Yep.
Oh yeah. In my experience, sellers have loved this. You know, sellers will sit there and they'll be like, okay, you know, you're the listing agent. Sometimes they don't really understand the dynamics and stuff, and they definitely understand when they're paying that commission in escrow. And one of the neat things about Show Me Now, especially in that example I have given you, it creates this magical dynamic between the seller and you, the listing agent, because now the seller feels like they have some skin in the game. The seller feels like they're taking part and helping to take control in the viewership of their home. And I am telling you guys, sellers love it because they're sitting there going, okay, so look, I know Super Bowl's coming up, but a lot of people are off. I would really love to see my house or have my house shown. And I'm like, oh yeah, Awesome. So you're not going to be at home. You're going to go to your friend's house for the Super Bowl party. Hey, do me a favor. Just clean up, Cheryl. Clean your house up. Get it ready get it presentable. And as you're reversing out of your driveway, clip this on. Oh, that's right. Great, Sean. Thank you. I'm going to open up my house to be shown. And it creates this nice relationship.
It's important to, the way that we will look at this as enhancement is, Jeff and I have a policy that we show nearly every listing that we possibly can. And that is typically going to be with a 24-hour notice, right? That's how we have to do it. There's logistics involved.
Yes.
Now, when the seller deems it available, so if they are out of the house at work, or if they're doing something that they say, yeah, I can handle it, we now have, as I said, a higher customer service level because we have an entire army of experts, eXp Realty agents who can show it for us. So it really just helps us help our sellers and get that house sold.
So you said we have an entire army of eXp Realty agents, and normally I was going to say this to the end, but the reason why Renee, anybody for you who are watching us right now, why Renee says that, and she said it a couple of times, is late last year, October, November, Show Me Now is exclusively for eXp agents. So the technology is now owned and operated by eXp exclusively. This is for eXp agents only. So
that's to assist our buyers and our sellers.
Absolutely.
And Renee, you can say it's a baseball team of people because 9 people baseball team. And
yeah, well, but
actually, there you go.
but Sean, now, that's just a start, though. If the ping goes out to the initial 9, there's a subsequent ping that goes out based on geotags to our eXp Realty agents that are in proximity. So it's actually more than 9. It's an army.
Yes, no, you're right. I didn't get to describe that process, and I apologize, Mr. Mrs. Viewers, everybody out there. So absolutely. So what Renee was saying is this, right? Here's going back to the first scenario, right? So there's buyers in front of my listing. They see the app, they download it, and they send out a notification. And I see it on my phone, but I'm talking to you all on Facebook Live, so I can't jump out of my house and go and do a showing, although as much as I would love to. Now, if I had agents that I wanted to collaborate, work with on my team, however you name it, all of us would receive that notice. But whether I'm a single agent or I have a team of 9 other agents, there's a safety net involved in the sense that if all of us do not respond to that message, because we're all in Facebook Live right now, then rather than having a stranded buyer or an abandoned buyer sitting there curbside who really wants to see the property today, right? It does. The app goes through a secondary ping, and then it notifies all the eXp agents in a certain radius from that buyer. So now that buyer's covered, whether it's by me, the listing agent, whether it's by me, and if I have a team, or I do have a baseball team and army that has my back. It's going to go out to all the eXp agents in the area that a live buyer is standing in front of this listing. Who wants to help them see that house? Who wants to represent them? Boom.
Cheryl's Boston. Go, Cheryl.
Now I have 2 questions. I'll probably forget the other one as I get this one out. But as a listing agent, I want to make sure that those eXp agents know that house to represent my seller at the highest level. It's up to me to select the 9 eXp agents because I'm a control freak like that, right? I will select because I want to make sure that they know the house.
Yes, you're the agent who took the listing. You're the agent who has the rapport and the relationship with the seller. It's very rarely that as a team leader or a listing agent or an agent in charge or a Cheryl Huck that you bring your entire team with you to the listing presentation. But yes, you're the one, the listing agent will go into the database and edit up to 9 agents in your area.
But we do share with our group. I share with my reps every listing, and I encourage them to come. We see it. They hold open houses for my seller with my seller's permission. So this is perfect.
In a lot of these presentations, we give this is what you can do, and I noticed that a lot of people like to hear success stories. So what's really interesting is we recently launched Show Me Now as a pilot for eXp in Austin. Now we did that last month. 2 things, you guys. What was amazing is before we even got to get started, Scott Petronas and I were there in Austin with Caitlin Olson from our marketing department. The three of us were there launching Show Me Now in Austin. And it's crazy because we had an agent say, hey, my name is Mike. And he raised his hand and said, by the way, who's Cheryl? And then Cheryl raised her hand. He's like, yeah, I'm the other eXp agent that we've been conversing and talking to. And they're like, oh my gosh. So there was all this collaboration that you normally don't see in the industry. And then after the pilot was launched, I'm watching all this dialogue that's going back and forth, these agents. And it's amazing because I've never seen this in 16 years. But I had an agent say, hey, I'm in North Austin. And this other agent said, hey, I'm in South Austin. I saw your listings. Yeah, I saw your listings. Tell you what, I don't have a team. I don't have this. Can I add you to my listing? If you add me to your listing, you guys, there was so much collaboration and meeting going back and forth. It was pretty neat. It's amazing to see.
I do have a question for you that's kind of on a serious note, which is very difficult for me because I am such a serious guy. So obviously safety is a huge issue, and some people, some agents don't want to go out and meet anybody without a meeting at the office first to make sure they're legit, et cetera, et cetera. So what if any features do we have in the app that helps us with that aspect?
Love this question. Love this question. Again, coming from an agent's point of view and an agent's perspective, I fully appreciate and understand this question and the seriousness of it. So first and foremost, when every buyer registers for the app, there's key information they have to enter. First name, last name. They have to enter in their mobile phone number, which is backed up with two-step verification. There is their email that they enter is also validated with a two-step verification. So no more bogus emails, no more bogus phone numbers that come across as a lead. All right. They have to submit in a profile picture. And if any of those questions are tried to be bypassed or skipped, they can't get past that. They have to answer those questions and register within the app. Next, when you, the agent, receives a showing request on your phone, you can see all of that information, right? It's no longer driving out like this 916 number that called me an hour ago, hoping that the person that I talked to on the phone matches the voice. It's not there. You get to see their profile. You get to see their information. You get to see all of that. And furthermore, again, safety, father, husband, I kept a lot of the personal side into the development process. There's an SOS feature that's included. It's not an upcharge or anything else. It's flat. It's there. This is called the Sos Panic Button. And so real quick, the SOS feature, after you've set it up on your phone, and setting it up means that you've designated 3 emergency contacts. Simply put, it sits there on your phone. You can't miss it. It's very eye-catching. And how this works, it goes like this. You're sitting here and you're in an uncomfortable situation. It's not one of those situations.
There's that 916 number calling again.
There was another missed call. That's another missed call. So I got to move my Carmichael property, man. I don't know. So anyway,
so think that Show Me Now.
Yeah, right. I know. So what happens is, with this SOS feature, you're in an uncomfortable situation, and we've all been in them. In fact, I have a great story I share with this. So many years back, I was sitting at this open house. I'm an agent who sits open houses, and I was closing up open house. It's in the fall. It's getting dark lately, earlier than not. And I'm wrapping things up, gone through the house, make sure everything was locked up, turned off the lights systematically in all the bedrooms and area. And I was just packing up things when I heard a car pull up. I'm like, oh, okay. Someone pulled up to my open house. My open house signs are still out in the community, obviously. And the door slammed, and these people were very loud because I could hear them from outside of the house. And I'm like, okay, so straighten up my jacket and open up the door. Hey, everybody. And the 3 people that walked in were 3 young individuals, younger than me, very, very loud, 2 males and a female, and they kind of ignored me. And so what happens is, I'm like, okay, well, hey guys, I was just about to wrap up, but go ahead and let's take a look at the house. Let me know if you have any questions. And I just noticed that they weren't talking to me. There was no engaging. and I don't know what your guys' experience is for your years in the industry, but sometimes you have those kind of clients that walk in. And the first thing is like, oh, you know, you have to protect your seller's interest because your seller it's a house that's being lived in and you're just doing the open house. So these people started to split up and walk around in the house, even though it was dark. And I'm mother handing them and following around like, hey, you know, hi, just ask me any questions. You know, I'm going into my spiel, you know, this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, dot, 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 dot. And just, you could tell that they weren't engaging. So a couple of things. Number one, I'm alone in a dark neighborhood, dark house with 3 young individuals. I'm pretty athletic, but still there's 2 men there and a female that could probably, you know, if something happened. But at the same time, it's not like I'm going to whip out my phone and call 911 and go, I don't know what this situation is. Please send help. You don't know. You can't overreact. And the unfortunate thing is by the time something does happen, it's usually too late to call 911.
So the app is perfect for that because it has that built-in button, which is perfect security.
So what that does, Renee, is from the SOS button, discreetly, however you do it, you can simply hold this SOS feature down. It goes 1, 2, 3. What that does is it sends out this SOS text to your 3 emergency contacts. And it tells them, hey, this is the sender's name. So this is Sean Thomas. I'm in an emergency situation. Please send help. Here's my location. This text message goes out to those 3 emergency contacts every 30 seconds, rain or shine, no matter what. It will keep going out and keep sending that. If I'm over here, if I've walked down the hallway 5 feet further, it will pull your geolocation every 30 seconds and it sends that emergency SOS to those 3 people.
That's
now,
awesome.
That's awesome.
What happens from there?
That's so good.
It can't be deactivated until you, the sender, actually enters in a 4-digit unique PIN.
So
Very
we're
cool.
still in beta. We're still in beta in this
Yes.
product, right?
We're still in beta.
Is there also an option, or maybe we consider an option for 911?
No. I'm going to say that straightforward because honestly, if you're in a 911 situation, call 911.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. I've had that. You know, over the 3 years of development, I've had that come across the question constantly. Well, why not just link it to 911? Because, hey, you guys, if you're in 911, get out there, get safe. If you've fallen and you're hurt, don't use the app to ping somebody because you're bleeding out. No, use 911, right? Like people who are in an actual emergency situation, call 911. The app is there to cover that gray area, that uncomfortable area. Given the example I gave you with the open house, those 3 teenagers did not rob me. Nothing happened. It was great. They didn't buy the house. But at the same time, it has you covered where, you know, you can text somebody and they'll respond back.
John, you mentioned that this portion was being provided at no additional cost. So let's talk about the cost of this app.
Okay.
How much does it cost for the eXp Realty agents?
Man, there was a lot of discussion around this, Jeff. Lots of brainstorming. And I think the best price is that we came up was free.
Woo!
The best price is free. The best price we can come up with, you guys, is free. It's free to eXp agents. It's free because it's ours. It's free to our consumers and our buyers who are using the app because why not? You know, they're buying the property, so absolutely.
Great.
I hear you.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Cool.
So here we have
So,
unbelievably innovative technology, which amplifies service, which we're all seeking. So service for the customer, service for our sellers, service for our agents, service for our buyers, and it's complimentary for eXp Realty agents.
Yes.
Great.
Unreal. So, all right, Mike, last question I know, right? Drop the mic. The last question I want to say is, as we're kind of teasing the state of Florida, Sean, right? The state of
Why are we all
Florida,
here?
this is a little teaser. We're not going to go into the exact date, but it's Florida soon. I'm putting you on the spot. I know it.
I knew she was going to do this. I knew it. Okay, so yes, we launched a pilot program in Austin. We are launching the second pilot in Nashville, Tennessee. What Renee is alluding to is that we would love, absolutely love to do a pilot in Florida. I think all of us can raise our hand and say that part of the purpose for this Facebook Live is to educate all of our Florida eXp agents and give a shout out. Let us know. All right. Let us know a workplace. Please join the eXp Show Me Now workplace group. We would love, I can work with you guys and put a survey out there.
I'm coming in, Sean. I'm sorry. I'm going to I'm going right in.
Go for it.
Yes. So it's so exciting that this is a teaser for our Florida family. All of our fellow eXp agents, download the app.
Okay.
Download the app.
Oh my gosh.
It's coming. We're rolling this out in Florida. I know, Sean, you don't have to say anything. It's just nod. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. It's here. We are ready. Sean, Florida is ready to up our game in service for our sellers and our buyers. Mitch, your game?
I'm game.
Cheryl, your game?
I'm game. I've been waiting to show me now.
I got a ton of agents here waiting.
All right. Can we have a benchmark? Can we?
Telling you, Florida's showing you now. It's here.
All right. I could dig it. I would love to go to Florida and talk to all of you guys and get it launched there. Definitely. So can we have a benchmark? How many agents do we want to get to? I mean, this is not even decided. This is me spitballing here right now.
Oh, no, that's for another video.
Okay,
this
fine.
Is one video now, and it's a teaser because there's more to come. So to our sellers, to our buyers, and of course, to all of our fellow eXp Realty peeps like Mitch, he just has that app on his phone. Just takes a second. Get dialed in, contact Sean, myself, Cheryl, Mitch, or Jeff. Get the app on your phone so that we can help our sellers and our buyers with elevated service, because that's what we're all here for.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
I'm super stoked that everyone joined us today. And Sean, oh my goodness, you just created the most amazing app that is going to help us help our real estate community. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Yes.
More tech. We are so fortunate. For $50 a month, a technology package for everything that we get.
Yep.
All right, guys. I say make it a great day and stay tuned because there's more coming. Sean, another Facebook Live is in the horizon. Wait.
Challenge accepted. Awesome,
Happy
you guys.
All. Great to see you, Mitch. Renee.
Happy Monday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sean. Bye.
Make it a great day.
Get the app. Show me now.
Bye.